I know it doesn't make sense. Not much does anymore. You killed me. I didn't like that. The dead man's name was Charles Haberger. I remember him. But are the memories mine or hers? It makes no difference. He deserved to die. They all deserve to die.
Hold on a sec. Come on.
Jin, we need...
Oh, whoa, whoa. Easy there, Tiger. To be very honest, I was quite disappointed. Have you not seen the reviews? Don't you know this is the best FPS ever in the all-time ever of all time? You know that. Or is it? The easy answer from me is I don't know. I've never played this series of games, but people do tell me, and I have read, obviously, that this is one of the best, if not the best, according to some, first-person shooter ever. As I've not played them, I don't know. So I thought I would. So I installed them and immediately started running into problems, hence this video. This is a sort of fix to various issues that you may get in the game. Well, certainly ones I came across, and as I always like to do, I try and do a video on how to fix them. There are fixes on the webs. I'm not the person who came across all these, I'm just the person who put it all into this video. So yeah, the fixes are out there, not in any way, shape or form are they anything to do with me. I've tested these fixes on both retail copies of the game and the Steam versions of the game. I haven't tried it on any other versions. There was at least one issue that I had to do differently on one. I can't remember if it was the Steam or the retail copy. I had to find a different workaround for it, but it did work. But when I come to that in the video, I shall point that out. So without any further ado, let's crack on into it. So I have my FPS counter at the top left-hand corner of the video. You can see that it is a very low frame rate at this moment in time. Something around about 22, 23, but of course it's the opening scenes, not the actual game itself. But we'll come to that later on. And yes, as time goes on, the frames dip even further, so let me move on to that one. So yeah, we're just a bit further into the intro, and you can see that the FPS has virtually halved. Well, it has halved to 11 FPS. Yeah, it's not unexpected that these things, because it is the opening scene, and it is video and everything else, and not the actual game itself, so you would expect the game to run slightly better, but let's get on to that. So we're actually going to get into the game itself here. So we get out the car and we notice that the frame rate is still the same at this moment in time. It does actually increase slightly now. It's still not fantastic. And eventually, over a period of time, it does get worse and slowly starts to drop again. But that's where I'm going to leave it there for now. And we'll go into the first fix. So yeah, I'm not going to go into the whys and the wherefores and the do you mind if I don't. The technicalities of it all, 'cause I don't really understand it, but There are some weird and wonderful fixes out there, one of which is it's all to do with your inputs, and some people say some Logitech inputs affect it. And you can go through your device manager and disable various HID inputs and all that kind of stuff. But to me, that just sounds like a lot of nonsense. So what you're looking for is this. Yeah, it's a DLL file. Simple as that. Nothing spectacular about it or anything of that nature. So you get it from here. So you just go to the PC Gaming Wiki page. You can go to the F.E.A.R page itself, or use the URL. It's the address bar on the screenshot, and download the file. And once you've downloaded it, this is where you put it. Yep. So all you have to do is stick it in the game installation folder. Wherever you've installed the game, that's where you stick it. It's as simple as that. No more, no less. So let's have a look at the game. Now we've actually got the DLL file put into the installation folder. So we're back in the game with the DLL file installed, and you can see immediately the difference.
All right, move it out.
Yep, over 200 FPS, nice and smooth. It does jump up and down, not too much. It doesn't do the slow, gradual die of the other without the DLL file. It kind of remains at a constant kind of rate. Damn rat. Come here, you varmint. There you go. So yeah. Now, on to the next issue. So I'm using a F.E.A.R extraction point for this demonstration. Yeah, the next issue is the teeny tiny subtitle writing. So if you don't care about the subtitles and reading them or whatever, then you don't need to do this fix. But if you do, then maybe you want to follow the next few instructions. Again, it's a bit more convoluted than the DLL file, but I shall try and explain it as best as I can. So first things first, you need to go to the PC Gaming Wiki again and follow the URL in the address bar on the screenshot, or go to the F.E.A.R PC Gaming Wiki page and follow the link from there. But either way, download the file, and this is what you need to do with the file once you've downloaded it. So once you've extracted the downloaded file, you want to then copy and paste it into the F.E.A.R installation folder wherever you've installed the game. This is just for F.E.A.R, don't forget. You see, we haven't gotten to any of the others yet. This is just for F.E.A.R, so just copy, paste it straight into the game installation folder wherever you have installed it. Then in the same game installation folder, find the file that says defaults. So once you've located the file called default, open it up with a text editor such as Notepad, and you'll notice that there's many lines of text already in there. So what you want to do, just type in the name of the file that you've just copied and pasted into the installation folder that you just downloaded, exact name of that file underneath the last entry in the Notepad. And once you've done that, just save it and close it. So when you spark the game up again in all its majestic glory, there they are. Wonderful, proper sized text. More in keeping with widescreen than the teeny tiny stuff you had before, which you had to look through the Hubble telescope to actually see. Yeah, good. Anyway, that's F.E.A.R done. What are we on to now? We're going to do extraction point. couple of issues with that one, so let's crack on. Right, so here we are in F.E.A.R Extraction Point. The first thing you'll notice, of course, is the most obvious, which is no widescreen. The best we can do is 1400 by 1050 in game. I just can't wrap my head around why that would be from a game that actually comes out after the F.E.A.R original game, which has widescreen. Well, widescreen resolutions. It does state that it's not supported fully, but hey, you can get a widescreen resolution. But in Extraction Point, the next one along, you can't. Have no idea why that's the case. I mean, Extraction Point sits inside the installation folder for F.E.A.R as it is. Yeah, I don't know. So, first fix is obviously the DLL, which is exactly the same issue. We do have slightly better frame rates on this one at this moment in time, but again, they do decline over time. So DLL file. Second one will be a subtitle text as well, which is exactly the same as F.E.A.R. So we'll fix that. And also the third one will be the widescreen. So let's crack on and get the DLL sorted. You use exactly the same DLL file as you did before with F.E.A.R. You go to your F.E.A.R installation folder where the original game F.E.A.R is installed on your system, and then you locate the F.E.A.R XP folder. You then copy and paste the DLL file into the F.E.A.R XP installation folder. So the next thing we want to fix is this god-awful non-widescreen bloody resolution stuff. So yeah, this is quite an easy fix, and one I actually found out myself. Then did some searching online, and yeah, other people came to the same conclusion. It does work. It worked for me. Hasn't reverted back to its original state. So fingers crossed on a following wind, this should do it. So this is what you need to do. So what you need to do is to navigate to your C drive, go to Users, Public Documents, Timegate Studios, F.E.A.R XP. You then locate the settings file, open that with a text editor such as Notepad, and then you will see screen width and screen height, and you input in between the quotation marks, or speech marks, whatever you want to call them, your desired resolution. Now, I can only test mine up to 1920 by 1080 because that's what my monitors max out at. So I cannot confirm or deny anything above that. So that's something that you'll have to sort of sort out on your own. But that's how it works, and let's see how it looks. Actually, before we get into the glorification that is the widescreen fix and the DLL fix, let's also do the subtitle fix so we can look at all three in its finery. So let's get on with it. So if you remember the process you used for F.E.A.R to change the small text, then it's exactly the same principle. You just need to put the files in a different place and just do some different changes. Right, so you find the F.E.A.R_1920.arch00 file, the same one as you use for F.E.A.R, and you stick it in the F.E.A.R XP folder, the installation folder for F.E.A.R XP. Not in the F.E.A.R folder. It is inside the F.E.A.R folder, F.E.A.R XP folder, but you stick the actual file inside the F.E.A.R XP installation folder. And locate the default file and open it up with a text editor such as Notepad, and you will see something very similar as to what you did with the F.E.A.R changes. So just as exactly the same, you type in exactly as it says on the screen, the name of the file at the end of everything else. I know it looks a bit different than the F.E.A.R one, but it's exactly the same. And once you've done that, you file save and close down the Notepad. Right, so how's she looking? Here we go, all three. So we've definitely got widescreen, DLL files installed. We're definitely getting better FPS. voila, the text is as it should be. Now, there's a reason I picked this particular scene. Of all the little bits I've played so far, just to get the game to run and various other things, apart from it being that little speech there at the beginning being my favourite so far. This particular scene is an absolute FPS killer. When I was trying to do this without the DLL input file, it was virtually impossible. It was such the FPS was so low. I couldn't aim. I couldn't shoot. It's just, yeah, it was just terrible. But yeah, it seems to have held up quite well. Not getting the 200 plus on the F.E.A.R one, but I think it's just this particular scene and this particular place for some strange reason does something weird to the game's FPS for whatever reason. Incidentally, this is the F.E.A.R extraction point, the Steam version, which I had difficulties with the original DLL input file. So I'm going to put some different sort of stuff on here now, just to point you in the direction of another DLL file that you can use. Well, the issues I was having was that when I used the original DLL file on the Steam version of Extraction Point, that the FPS was just up and down to really high, then to really low all the time, and it was bouncing around all over the place. So I'm going to show you a different way of getting a different DLL file. It does work, and in fact, this is the DLL file that I'm using with this recording now. So this fine gentleman here on his Something Unreal channel provides a different location for another DLL file. I shall put the link to that file in the description to the video, so you can download it for yourself should you come across the same issues that I did. Yeah, once you've downloaded it, the extraction and copy and paste into the folders as before, as described in this video, is exactly the same. It's just a different DLL file. That is all that is required. So let's crack on to the third and final game in the series of the first lot anyway. F.E.A.R Perseus Mandate, which there is only one fix, and that is the subtitle fix, and I shall go through that now. So here we are with the grand finale. F.E.A.R Perseus Mandate. The only fix we need is the small subtitle fix. As you can see already, the subtitle fix has already been applied in this case. So we don't need the DLL fix, and we don't need the widescreen fix. So we can just crack on and do what we need to do exactly the same as we did before. Put the other files in the respective places, and voila, it should all work. So if you recall from the original download of the small subtitle fix, you should have something that looks like this. So if you went to the original download location, you should have received three files: the F.E.A.R 1920 and the F.E.A.R XP2 1920, and a README file, which is the instructions on where to put what and why. So all we're interested in is this particular file, the F.E.A.R XP2 1920, which is obviously Extraction Point 2 or Perseus Mandate, whichever one, but they called it obviously XP2. So as before, we navigate to the installation folder for the original F.E.A.R, and we locate the F.E.A.R XP2 folder. And we open up that folder, and we copy and paste the F.E.A.R XP2 1920 file into that F.E.A.R XP2 installation folder. Yep. So once we've done that, we then locate the default file, which is a config file, and open it up in Notepad or another text editor of your choice. And you will see a series of texts in lines or rows, which look a bit different to the others, but it's the same principle as before. You go to the last line underneath and create another line of text underneath the last line of text, which is the same name as the file that you've copied and pasted into the F.E.A.R XP2 installation folder. Once you've done that, you file, save, and close the notepad down. And that's it done. That's F.E.A.R extraction point, and F.E.A.R Perseus mandate. All sorted in terms of little fixes and little tweaks and stuff like that. I mean, there are mods out there. You can mod the hell out of it to make it look even better, to run even. You can tweak it to your heart's content and anti-aliasing and all this kind of nonsense. There are those kind of things out there you can do. For me, I'm not interested in that. As long as it runs, looks half decent, I'm okay. And yeah. Now, F.E.A.R 2, what's it called? Project Origin, doesn't need any of this stuff, obviously. It's the more, well, apart from F.E.A.R 3, which is the most modern of the series. F.E.A.R 2 was the one before that. That doesn't need it, and neither does F.E.A.R 3, I believe. And the less we say about F.E.A.R 3, the better, I think. From what I've read, I haven't played that either. So, but public cannot be wrong. What they say about F.E.A.R 3. But anyway, I shall leave you with a few more minutes of this, and I shall let it run on, and the video finish on for a couple of minutes. But thanks all for watching, and I will catch you next time.
I'll be in radio contact with you throughout the mission. Begin your jump prep.
Time to fly.
Looks like we set you down in the middle of things. It's going to be a hard slog to the data center. That's Delta Force. What the hell are they doing here? See if Den Mother can give you any answers. That had to hurt. Come on, let's move. What the hell happened in here? I know as much as you do. We've got company. This isn't looking good. Something else. Close, Sergeant. Done here.